Good evening, everybody, and welcome to BRL. I am your host, The Characteristics. I hope you're all doing absolutely wonderfully. Usually, I'd say, and my co-commentator, J-Horse. However, we have one slight little problem. He stood on his microphone, and it's broken. So he's not joining us today, probably next week as well. So he'll just be back at some point, I guess. Perhaps. Completely dependent on whether he gets a microphone or not. Nevertheless, I'm here to sort out all your problems. Don't you worry. Speaking of, we're about to do some racing today. And we are just loading in, I'm pretty certain. So today is a sprint race, so we're going straight into a race. So I want to very quickly go over this championship. We've got 30 seconds to go and look over this. Well, the race result, Mr. Cookie absolutely nailed it last race. He got quite a lot of points on the table, which helped him level on points with Rick in the end. 106 split them both as we went into what did we go into? We went into something. Going into a week break. So we're back after a week. Hope you're doing well. AlphaTauri as well have really snuck it up at the top, and they're doing absolutely phenomenally. McLaren sort of being the only ones to hold them off. Speaking of, let's head to our formation lap. I am looking forward to this. This should be a really, really good race. It's Britain. Obviously, this race in particular is split. Oh, he's here. Oh, he showed up. Oh, the sneaky little thing. So, because Mr. J-Horse doesn't have a race to go to or a comms box to sit in, he's decided to go and race. I can't believe you, J-Horse. You've disappointed me there. You really have. He's disappointed me. But it is reverse championship order unless you haven't raced or you are a substitute and then you go to the bottom. I'm pretty certain. So Malthreat is up at the top with Alexis Sanchez in P2. So a good opportunity for Aston Martin to get some good points on the board. They'll be very happy with that. The Belgian race was quite good last time round. Let's hope that it is just as good this time round. It should be good. Like, Britain is known to get some pretty good racing. Last time we came here, it was a little bit more damp. If you remember, there was a certain Mr. Cookie who got his first ever win here a couple of months ago. I did quite a lot of shouting, and we played the British National Anthem that day, which was quite fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that day. Either way, having a little look down the grid. Malthreats, Alexis Sanchez, Tommy, Aero Blake, Hella High, Jimmy Jags, Exo Perry, Blair, Pink Eye, Wamat, Smithy, Hazard, Lifebout, That's Him Guy, Henson, Rick, Mr. Cookie, Ports, J-Horse. Obviously, Ports and J-Horse haven't raced at all. This is their first races of the season. Let's see whether J-Horse can impress. Obviously, he's now a wheel driver rather than a controller driver. So he might not be quite as speedy as he was before. However, I am expecting him to still do rather well. With that, a couple of drivers just beginning to line up. They're all on the medium tyre, I'm pretty certain. Yes, everybody's on the mediums. As we now leave the formation lap, and we are now... Oh, J-Horse is currently doing some lawn mowing. Interesting choice of ideas for him, as he lines up at the back of the grid. Into place he goes. We're just waiting for the Aston Martin to come into spot, as we will get going. 9 laps around Silverstone here today. It's a pretty long track, as we are away, and the Williams gets off to a very good start in comparison to the Aston Martin, who gets bogged down a little bit. And in fact, it's a really good start for the Williams, and he manages to sneak up. He keeps first place, comfortably as the Aston Martin loses. And oh, there goes 2 cars. That's Blair. That's Blair and I'm a Wild Matt going off to the side there, I'm pretty certain. With that, the Ferrari, 2 Ferraris battling actually as the one going around the outside. Aero Blake having to hold the defensive line in. Looking towards the back, Essex Perry with a pretty good solid start as he gets very, very close there to a Red Bull who's very, very much off track. And it is absolutely chaos in the midfield here as we go into the left-hander. Oh, it's absolute chaos down this track as a couple of other drivers. Here's our Henson, who obviously got caught up in that sort of absolute chaos. That was the first couple of corners, and here's Mr. Cookie trying to battle hella high. Does get himself rounded. It's going to be the AlphaTauri who goes down the inside at Cops. It doesn't quite work, and he all of a sudden he's holding up his teammate Lifebout down in P8 and P9. Looking ever so slightly forward, and the Haas of Essex Perry obviously up that 1 position, looking possibly to try and fight the Ferrari ahead. However, Alexis Sanchez under a lot of pressure from Aero Blake. Can he go down the inside? Well, that's exactly what he wants to go to. He is going to go for the move, and he gets the move done nicely. The Aston Martin does try the switch back, but doesn't quite get the angle of rotation in. So does make collision with the Ferrari there. Isn't able to get past after all. So Malthreats has got a very, very good start to this race. A 33.4 has gone and been the fastest lap so far. Aero Blake keeping it close. And that is a Haas scooting up the inside. That's Essex Perry on an Alexis Sanchez. They're still going side by side. The Aston Martin will have the inside line. And oh, that's a collision there. I'm not quite sure how that was caused, but that is the Haas stopped on track. J-Horse not impressing at the moment. Still only P17, where his driver Mr. Cookie, who's currently leading the championship on number of wins, P9, with his nice competitor Rick just a place behind. However, 2 seconds back. Well, he's got a lot of traffic here to deal with, and he's going to get past the AlphaTauri here, I'm pretty certain. Hazard with a pretty poor line there through the long right-hander, and then through Woodcut they go, and it's very comfortably the Aston Martin's position for now. Looking ever so slightly ahead, and it's Lifebout and Alexis Sanchez battling through Cops, and now they'll head through Maggins and Beckett's side by side. It's going to be the AlphaTauri with the lead. Going through the left-hander, he does manage to get the position made just about in time. Well, Malthreats currently 3 seconds extended to. So he's having an absolute wonder of a race. And it's going to be the Mercedes of Smithy right on the back of Alexis Sanchez here, putting a bit of threat in. And all the other Aston Martin, Mr. Cookie, desperate to get past. He wants to try and possibly make a move here into club, but no, cannot get one done. It's going to be the Mercedes instead, launching it down the inside. Fantastic move from the Mercedes there. Perfectly timed dive bomb. As by the looks of it, the Aston Martin of Alexis Sanchez might be getting out of the way of Mr. Cookie, but no, they're going to go side by side. No, he does. He lifts ever so slightly, and oh, he makes collision with his teammate. Oh, that's bad. Well, that promotes Rick up into P9 and gets himself in front of Mr. Cookie, who's falling back to P14 and has got himself going underway again with Ports just in between him and Alexis Sanchez, the man who they have just had a collision with. That is a devastating little accident, isn't it? I think Mr. Cookie's gone through the corner a little bit slower than maybe was expected. Nevertheless, chaos ensues, and the Ferrari's doing absolutely remarkably well through this. P2 and P3 at the moment, double podium for the Ferrari crew, who haven't had the greatest of races so far. Well, they're currently sat last in the constructors standings, so if that has anything to tell you about how their performance this season has been going, then I think that is about all you need. Well, they're going to go for a move on one another, and RS Pinkley is going to get himself up into P2. Aero Blake concedes a position to P3. Don't think they're going to fight too hard, considering the fact they're on the same constructors. However, nevertheless, decent move made. That's Sim Guy, P6. Currently with Hazard and Hella High behind, with Rick just following up that pack. And then it is quite a big gap to I'm a Wild Matt. Ooh, runs. With 3 seconds, 2.7 now. I'm a Wild Matt with a very, very good exit there. And a Rick not quite as close as he was just moments before. That Sim Guy also closing up to the back of Smithy. So we could see a increase. Words. None. Apparently. No. That's my words ability gone out the window. Sometimes that just happens. Do ignore me. Well, looking up further ahead, Lifebout's beginning to get himself onto the back of the Ferraris. They're now about equal split from one another, and this middle run is still very, very strong. Mr. Cookie having a bit of a mare by the looks of it. He's down in P17. However, not doing as bad as doing better, than J Horse. Down in P18 are Henson P19 as well, who's on the soft tyres. So he's had to make a pit stop. If you just want to check, yes, that is the case. J Horse as well with a 5-second time penalty. Unfortunate for him. Belair getting very, very close to the back. And that is Tommy out of the race. How's that been caused? Well, he's gone flying off by the looks of it into that tyre wall there. You can just see him. He's sort of there. You'll see just go past him there. And yeah, that has caused... Is that a safety car? That is a safety car, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a safety car for possibly 1 or 2 laps and get ourselves going once again. I do love it when a good safety car comes out. Either way, I didn't get time to introduce you to the beautiful track where we are today. So I think I'm going to do that right about, well, when I can find... Where are you? There it is. Right. So, because we're behind the safety car, let's talk a little bit about the track that they're driving around. It is Silverstone, as you should all very well know. 5.891 kilometres with 18 turns, 2 DRS zones, of which the start-finish line isn't one, which is very, very unusual. Elevation isn't massive here. It obviously used to be an old airfield back in the 1950s before it was transformed into a Formula 1 circuit for Formula 1's first ever race, the 1950 British Grand Prix, of which, if you know who won that race, pop it in the chat and you will get a nice big congratulations from me. Nevertheless, there is some changing elevation, especially on the run-up to this corner up here. This is probably our largest change of elevation, and you can definitely see it because then you run straight back down again. So I went in August to Silverstone, in particular to go and watch the MotoGP British Grand Prix. That was absolutely fantastic. I very much enjoyed it. I did the walk around the circuit, and it took forever. It took pretty much the whole day. But it was actually very, very enjoyable. And even more so, you see where between turns 7 and 18, we just cut that out because you can. And yeah, it still took absolutely forever. Either way, we're going to be going for one more lap. So you can come back on board with the Williams car, Mal Threats, who's been absolutely dominating this race as of right now. And here we see SX Perry in the pit lane, perhaps for some damage. Doesn't seem very logical to go in for any other reason rather than damage yet. There you go. There is a change of the front wing. There's absolutely no other reason why you should need to come into the pit lane during a sprint race. The idea is it is just a start to finish race. You're not supposed to have to come into the pits unless, of course, you pick up damage. So, not Haas's day, is it? P16 and P18 as of right now. They're 8th in the championships. They've been doing okay. It just hasn't been quite as optimal as they perhaps wanted it to be. Obviously, they had a pretty decent start to last season due to they had Rick at the very start of the season before he then moved to Alfa Romeo to join his now championship rival, Mr. Cookie. Of which Rick obviously battled earlier on in the championship. He battled with J Horse, who, if we have a little look, is here, P16 at the moment. Hasn't been having the best of races so far. However, it can be a little bit excused because he hasn't. He's racing on Will. This is his first time racing on Will with BRL, actually. And I kind of feel bad for him because, you know what? It's not going great. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, safety car is coming in this lap, which you'll all be very, very happy to hear. Because we want to see some racing. We don't want to see people going around in circles, especially when we're in a sprint race. A sprint race is designed to be fast, quick, and exciting. And we need a little bit more incitement on our hands. Either way, the Williams gets himself underway very, very early on. And he's going to head into turn 1. And it's not going to be an absolutely massive gap. And I think he slowed it back down again. He has. That's very, very good tactics. Either way, he's got himself back underway. Once more, the Williams gets himself going across the lines to start a green lap. We are green, ladies and gentlemen. And it should be a little bit of chaos into our first braking zone. Will we see many moves? Well, it's not looking particularly close, is it? I think most drivers are actually quite split up. Whether that's just from timing on the brake. However, by the looks of it, we have a big scrap at the back of the grids. Let's have a little watch of this. Well, we've got a Williams and an Alpine right now going side by side. That's our Henson and Jimmy Jags currently battling it out, the two drivers on the soft tyres. With that behind, J-Horse getting very, very close as well. Looking ahead, the two Aston Martins and all. That's a bit of big contact there between the Alpine and the Williams Racing. That's allowed J-Horse through, and he's going to go down the inside of Jimmy Jags. However, Jimmy Jags absolutely nudging his way through, and that's caused a spin. RJ Blair gets knocked to the side, and I do think that is Jimmy Jags knocking the drivers around. I'm not quite sure whether that's entirely legal. I think there might be some penalties there. If it was, I definitely saw him swerving a little bit. I'm not saying he made contact because I'm not too sure. However, the swerving would lead me to believe that there might have been a little bit of contact, you know? Either way, Hazard, nearly a second up on his fastest time so far, and he's going to possibly go for the move on the Mercedes. He had a little look. He had a possible opportunity. He decided against it, and to be honest, I don't blame him. Mr. Cookie up into P12 now after obviously suffering that rather large problem. He's there up 5 places still, nevertheless, but Rick up 7 is just showing a little bit more helpful at the moment. And oh, what's happened to our hence J-Horse? He's fallen back down the grid again. Oh, he's spun it. Oh, J-Horse. Oh, he might have crashed. He might have spun. I don't know. Either way, that's very close and very late from Blair to get himself out of the way. I thought they were going to crash for a second then. Either way, it's been pretty chaotic down at the back of the grid, and that is absolutely stuff we love to see here at BRL. We love to see drivers absolutely going for it no matter what position they are. And Mr. Cookie now very, very close on the back of Ports. Even more so, he's going to go down the inside. Good run out, and Ports making a little bit of a mistake there, running a little bit too wide, and that is going to allow Mr. Cookie through it. Will cook comfortably, so that's up to P11. So Rick now just a couple of places in front, possibly opening opportunity for him to get a move. However, with Hella High picking up a penalty, that can lead to Rick bumping himself up another position. If he doesn't so already, he's got a brilliant run on the Oracle Red Bull. Won't have DRS due to it not being opened yet after the safety car. Well, they're going to go side by side into Stowe, and it's move made for the McLaren. Lovely little move. The Red Bull, I don't think he's going to have enough momentum to go into. No, he's not. Well, it's the McLaren's race so far. He's up to P8. That's one of the strongest climbs. However, not the strongest. That goes to Lifebout and that Sim guy, who are both currently on 9 positions. However, Lifebout could very, very easily make this 10. He got very, very close to the back of the Ferrari right now. Perhaps could make a move very, very soon. That Sim guy, though, would have to catch up to Lifebout and overtake him if he wanted to get that additional position. Well, there goes Lifebout. He's gone on the Ferrari. Move made into the long left-hander. Nice. Really nice move, actually. Very, very well performed. Executed nicely and keeps it very, very tidy through that complex of corners to help him secure the podium position for the sprint race as of right now. Well, I think we're going to have a little look up ahead for Malthreats and Pink Eye, who are going side by side. It is the last lap of the race, by the way. This race doesn't last forever. It's only half length of, or it's like a particular amount of length of the half race. So it's not very long whatsoever. Well, there's only going to be really two more good overtaking opportunities for the Ferrari to go for it. Well, he's going to go to the outside here. And that's Stowe there. He's going to get the move done. That's very, very impressive. However, the Williams will not like that. He'll probably want to try and make a move into the left-hander here, but he's too far back, and the Ferrari clinches it at the very last second. Could he hold on to the very final corner? He gets it through, and it's going to be the Ferrari to come home and win here at Silverstone with Malthret in P2, Lifeout P3, that's Ingai at P4, and Aeroblake in P5 in the end, dropping down a position. Rick obviously took home that P7, Hazard P8, Wild Map P9, Mr. Cookie P10, Hella High P11, our Henson P12, Ports P13, Alexis Sanchez P14. Though J-Horse then gets popped up, Alexis Sanchez gets dropped down. Jimmy Jags P16, Essex Perry P17, and Blair yet to come across the finish line to finish P18. Well, join us back in just a second when we get ourselves ready to go in. Welcome back to Silverstone. We're here for tonight's race. We are getting ready to get underway. So the players are just joining as of right now, and then they will be entering, obviously, and then they'll go into, pardon me, they'll then go into formation lap and go for the race. So exactly how the sprint works, we will exactly how the sprint's finished, we start. That makes sense. It's quite easy. Very, very easy. Essentially, it's like qualifying, but in a race. So either way, sprint done. We now go into the main race. Very much looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to need to get a water after a couple of laps because I've nearly drunk all of it in 9. So, formation lap underway. Pink Eye will start on pole position due to his win just a couple minutes before. Malthreats will join him on the top of the tables because that was a very, very intense but very, very enjoyable race and race finish as well. Also, notably, let's take a look at tyre choice because I noticed there Malthreats on the soft tyre, which is very, very interesting considering Silverstone has one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar, which means you spend a very, very long time under your pit limiter, which means you've earned a very, very, very long time going very, very slowly, which in turn leads to a lot of people, you know, you don't want to be spending time in the pit lane. You want to get one stop. It's all you ever want at this track is a one stop. If you're doing more than a one stop, it should be for damage, because otherwise you're making a mistake. So it's an interesting choice to go to the soft tyres. He's sort of probably banking on the safety car. I can't see him being anything else other than banking safety car, because that is all that is, and that could go really, really horribly wrong. Nevertheless, sorry, during that little break, the Bear Racing chat was saying a couple of little things. A couple of people questioning the amount of sort of the driving ability of some drivers. They didn't believe was quite up to scratch. I'm not going to comment on it because, you know, I've got to be neutral. I haven't got sort of my place to comment on that. Nevertheless, oh, that's Pink Eye doing a very interesting little spin. Oh, he's done it twice. Oh, that's really cool, actually. Nevertheless, through he goes through the AlphaTauri and gets himself parked up at the top of the tables. Either way, let's just hope for a clean race. That's all we ever want. We want clean, fair, and good racing. With that being said, we wait. And we wait no more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5 red lights. And we are underway. And it's a pretty good start for the Ferrari, who manages to keep hold of the lead with pretty comfortably the Williams. Quite close, actually. Very, very close, in fact. Was quite open to possibly making a move there. That is the worst camera angle I've ever seen in my life. He's going to probably want to be using those soft tyres as much as possible, as I'm pretty sure I saw a driver going... Oh, they're very, very close together. The Williams, and oh, there goes round that Sim guy, getting a little bit loose on the throttle as a Mercedes that is going onto the grass and taking a little look up at the front. Mal Threats has got the move there into the left-hander. I saw it ever so slightly just in front of me. He's in the Williams fly past the Ferrari. It was an excellent move by Mal Threats, who gets himself up the inside towards that left-hander and gets the move done. I want to say Luffield, but I fear that that's the long right. I have no idea. Nevertheless, looking back to sort of the middle of the pack, because that is where it's juicy. That is where it is all going down. And by the looks of it, that is still the case. J-Horse having a bit of a better start this time. Up to P12 with our Henson in P11. Mr. Cookie P10 and getting right on the back of the AlphaTauri of Hazard there. And I think he could possibly go for a move here. But he's going to have to go to the outside if he wants to get that move done. They go side by side and... possible switchback. No, he does keep the momentum through, but it's not enough. And Mal Threats there coming into the pit lane. So something's happened with Mal Threats and he's had to retire from the session. What on earth has happened to him there? He's been doing so well. He's in the lead of the race and he's had to retire. So that's a very interesting call. I'm not quite sure what on earth has happened to him and why he's had to retire, but that is unfortunate for him. I do feel rather sorry for him, to say at the very least. Nevertheless, Pink Eye, that brings him back up into the lead, the Ferrari. GG, good sprint, GG. Perhaps that he just wasn't able to participate during the race and got very, very good pace. Got a good sprint done, but couldn't quite finish it off. Rick in P4, so he's been gaining quite a lot of positions over this time. However, I think a certain Mercedes fancied a little interception there, Smithy, but couldn't quite bring it together. Either way, just asking Mal how come he has had to retire. Whilst we're waiting for a reply there, let's have a little look. And we see Alexis Sanchez and Belair here having a nice little fight. Possible switchback inbound. No, but it's just a very, very good run for the Aston Martin, who does decide to go down the inside, but doesn't quite get enough of the corner to win it. So he will remain in P14 for now. With that, DRS is now opened, ladies and gentlemen, as Aeroblake has managed to get past Lifeboat there after I'm pretty sure that was a bit of a mistake going round the second corner, the left-hander. I think he ran just very, very wide through there, and that's completely opened the door for Aeroblake to get himself through. So this is a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Very, very, very impressive indeed. And we absolutely love to see a 1-2. We don't get them very often, so we love to see them when they happen. Either way, the AlphaTauri keeping on the back though. Lifebout still having absolutely none of it. He's not a fan of that happening. nor I don't think he was particularly expecting it. So he's now right on the back of Aeroblake and keeping pace nicely. With the DRS straight coming up, it could be possible for the AlphaTauri to make a little bit of a move here as they do stay in tandem. And it's just 0.3 of a second splitting the two. DRS wide open. Is it going to be a defensive move in the Ferrari? No, it's not. He's going to leave the door open and the AlphaTauri is going to walk straight through it. He gets himself up into P2 once again, regains that position. However, that's given Pinkeye a 2-second lead over Lifeboat and Aeroblake. Rick and then 1.1 seconds back from Aeroblake. So Rick still got a lot of catching up to do, especially when Pinkeye setting 1:31 deads to go fastest than anybody else, with Port coming in for a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. So he is into the pits. Perhaps damage. I can only guess it is damage. There's pretty much no other reason to be coming into the pit lane at this point in time, considering the fact that I think it was Mal Threats who was on the soft tire, wasn't it? And oh, what's going on here? This is Hazard and Mr. Cookie, ladies and gentlemen, with our Henson running up the inside. Oh, no, is it Wild Matt? I have no idea where I am. Oh, well, our Henson's going for it. Our Henson's gone for it, and our Henson's done it. So now our Henson and Mr. Cookie, P7, P8, respectively. They're going to have to put a little bit of pace down. This is P1 and P3 in the championship together at the moment. Perhaps they might try and work together a little bit, as I noticed ever so slightly further up ahead. Hazard going for a possible move on the back of Smithy here. So these two very, very close to one another. In fact, incredibly close at one point just then. And I think it's going to be down to Hazard to try and get a good exit out of this corner. Because if he does, then I think it's very much on for him to possibly go for a move. Well, he's got all the DRS in the world. And I do think he's going to walk through it. Yes, yes, he does. Well, that is Hazard up into P5. And Mr. Cookie now right onto the back of Smithy. I need a drink. We have 26 laps of racing here. We've done 5. So, yay. We got so much. Fair amount to do. I'm a Wild Matt. Very, very close to the back of our Henson. And with a very good run out of this corner. Could possibly reap benefits. Uses a little bit of ERS. He does come alongside the Williams. And he's going to go for it. Down the insides. He's going to get the good line. The Williams can't quite get a switchback inbound. Though does run a slightly wider line to possibly take a later apex and get a decent run. And probably try and go for a move through Cots. But I don't think it's going to work. No, our Henson can't quite get the pace to get the move made. So that keeps I'm a Wild Matt up into P8. Is nearly a second off of these guys just in front. Mr. Cookie now very, very close to the back of Smithy and is not giving up this position in the slightest. So basically, he's just wanting for a decent exit here. Only problem is, though, a DRS train quite clearly forming here. However, with a little bit of ERS and a little bit of willpower, he's got himself side by side with the Mercedes. However, the Mercedes will have the inside line here. However, the Aston Martin will have the inside line for the next corner. However, is he going to be too far back? No, he's not. He's going to go for it. Possible switchback, perhaps? No, he's going to keep the car in it. He's going to keep a wheel in it. He's going to do very well to keep a wheel in it. Doesn't quite get the move made, though. However, that's opened the door for Wild Matt to close up, and he has closed up. He's taken great opportunity of that. Of this fighting and has closed up nicely. In fact, even more so, he's going to go for a move on Mr. Cookie. And the Mercedes doing absolute wonder pieces here. However, Mr. Cookie is going to try and fight back and try and hold this position. However, loses a lot of time in the doing. And in fact, it's going to be I'm a Wild Matt who reaps all the benefits from this. And there goes Mr. Cookie and our Henson. Rounds they go. Mr. Cookie and our Henson, I think, with a little bit of a collision there, spinning themselves back round in circles. Well, it's just not Mr. Cookie's day, is it? 2 big collisions for him is very, very unfortunate, to say the least. Sending him both back to the back of the grids. So he will just have to hope for a little bit of extra race pace, because he's now down in P16. Your championship rival, P4. possible P3 here, you know. He's getting close to the back of this Ferrari. Oh, he had a look. He had a little look. That's him guy there getting past Jimmy Jags. Well, not an awful lot to report on at the moment. It seems to have calmed down a little bit. Most drivers sort of holding position, holding place. And oh, what on earth is going on here? I say that. Jimmy Jags, what is going on, bro? Pardon me. Oh, bless me. Terribly sorry about that. J-Horse could get a decent little run through here. Whether he is able to make a move or could make a possible opening for a switchback. Yes, he does. Switchback inbound, perhaps. No, he doesn't quite get in just about enough of a run. However, J-Horse right on the back of Blair there, driving very, very well indeed. And look at this. Rick is going to go up the inside of Stowe and take the podium position from Aeroblake. Well, Aeroblake's going to want absolutely none of that. Could possibly make a move into here. Doesn't decide to in the end. Well, we got a yellow flag in sector 2. That's SX Perry just leaking into sector 3 as well. He's stopped on track there, just coming out of the Magnus Beckett's complex. He's now out and back onto the straight, back on the hangar straight, nice and calmly. Doing that rather well indeed. Right, well, things seem to have died down a little bit, haven't they? If we start taking a little look at delta times, I say that Mr. Cookie is right going for Alexis Sanchez here. He is going to go for it. He's going to have to take the outside line, though. Alexis Sanchez playing very, very defensively. However, he's going to have the inside for the left-hander, but a switch back from Alexis Sanchez here could ruin all of Cookie's plans. They're going to continue to go side by side. Cookie does eventually manage to get in front, but it was very, very close, and Alexis Sanchez still very, very adamant on his position. He's not going to give this up as easily as some may think. Take a little look up the top of the field. Aeroblake still keeping on the back. Like, he's not doing too badly, to be honest. Struggling to find a bit of fighting here. Blair getting rather close, as I have just gone and I've pulled up a nice little Silverstone map. So I might even give you a little talk through the track and its actual names, because I'm pretty sure I probably did this last season. I do it pretty much every season, especially around Silverstone, because every single corner has a name. So it's really nice to sort of talk about in comparison to a lot of other tracks. To say, here's turn 1, here's turn 2, here's turn 3. He's turn 4. He's turn 5. You know, it's at the moment, right now, they're coming out of the Chapel Curve and heading onto the Hangar Straight. As he's going to go for a move. He's going to switch to the inside for Stowe. Gets the job done, just like that. So, with that, let's take a little look at Pink Eye, who's just coming through Abbey and now into the Farm Curve, which is that long left-hander. Into Village. which is that little right, and then the loop is this double, is this lower left-hander here, and then Aintree is this little left-hander, the much faster, onto the Wellington straights. Well, down he goes, and in goes J-Horse to retire from the session. Well, he's now coming through Brooklands and then into the right-hander of Luffield. Exits rather nicely indeed and runs through Woodcote, which is this little right-hander, down the national pit straights, which does have pit walls, which used to be the main pit straight. Well, that's Cop's Corner. Been and gone. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Cop's. As we now go through Maggots and then No Name and then Beckett's, which is that one there. Beckett's, sorry, there. And Chapel, which is just that little left-hand kink as you leave. As I mentioned before, this corner just in front, this is Stowe, our best overtaking opportunity, as we've probably noticed. Good little corner to get some moves into. Well, then you come down into Vale and through Club Corner, which is this double right-hander, and onto the Hamilton straight to finish a lap. And there you go. There was a lap with Pink Eye. Aero Blake into the pit lane. So he's one of the first drivers to come in. It's lap 11 of 26. So we've still got some fair way to go. Taking a little look at Discords. Mal Threats had to go and pick his girl up from work. And J-Horse is going to the pub to forget that ever happened. Well, Alexis Sanchez retiring from the session there, and that is on track. That is an on-track retirement, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not quite sure how he's managed it. I think he's possibly just gotten a little loose out of there. I'm not quite sure what side, though, he's got a problem on. Either way, he's been removed from the track, and we do continue as per normal. Well, Pink Eye also into the pit lane. One other thing I would just like to mention. There's only sort of one notable point other than very, very solid racing so far. And a couple of decent battles. Though it's a little bit quiet at the moment as Mr. Cookie just gets a move down the straights. Down the hanger straights, as I've just taught you rather nicely. If you look back slightly earlier in this race... perhaps to once upon a time, it was blue skies. It's no longer blue skies. It's quite the opposite. It's quite grey skies, actually. So, kind of bit of a cause of concern, perhaps. A little bit worrying, to say the least, for some of these drivers. Mr. Cookie launching one down the inside a hella high, but he isn't going to be able to make the move because... Oh, will he? Is he? He's still going to go for it? No, he's not. The Red Bull is let through. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a virtual safety car. It's just yellow flags in sector 1, 2, and 3. Usually when I see that, it's like, yeah, you got to stop. No, clearly not. Jesus, I've never seen that before. Actually, yellow flags in sector 1, 2, and 3 during a race, and it not be for like a VSC or a actual safety car, which is very, very weird. Very, very weird to see. I was getting probably excited then, really confused as to why he wasn't going for it. So obviously we got a slow driver through sectors 3 at the moment. I think that is SX Perry, who's come into DNF. Yes, so that is both Haas cars out, and in total 4 drivers to retire from the session today. Of which 3 have been in the pit lane. Oh, God. I thought for a second then Jimmy Jags was just driving all over the place. No, he is coming into the pit lane. I was a little bit nervous for a second then. Well, Lifebout and Smithy into the pits, as well as Jimmy Jags, as just notably mentioned. Mr. Cookie now up to P4 with the additions of some people coming into the pit lane. However, he's gotten himself turned around rather nicely, and he'll stay out for a little bit longer, along with some of the hard tyre drivers that are up at the top of the field. That means he's going to be a little bit faster for the second half of the race, and he could possibly gain back a couple of positions. Either way, for any driver for it to have happened to, I think Mr. Cookie is probably one of the better ones for the fact that he was on hard set of tyres. He hasn't lost out on that opportunity to gain a lot of time using his mediums. So whilst unfortunate that what happened to him happened with our Henson, as the old book goes, it could have been worse. It could have been a whole lot worse. Could have been on mediums. Well, Blair into the pit lane as well, and I do think that signals pretty much the end of all the medium runners, and as of right now, I'm pretty sure everybody is on a set of hard tyres. Yes, yes, I am correct. Woohoo, I love being correct sometimes. Just nice to be correct at times. Well, all drivers now onto a nice little set of... Oh, hang on a minute. Lifeboat is going to go for it on this brother team of Red Bull. Doesn't quite get the move done, though is very much going to try again. Down into the left-hander. Brooklands, there he goes. Move made. Very, very nice. Got to just hang on at Luffield here and ensure that he does manage to hold onto it. Yes, he does now through Wooker. He's going to very much keep hold of it. And Mr. Cookie dropping places once again. He's spun! Cookie! This guy. He toys with your emotions. He actually toys with your emotions. He can make you feel so happy and then so sad. As Rick doing an absolutely marvellous job, may I say. Rick has been unbelievable this race. But he has been really, really quiet and really subtle about it. So he's just overtaken his championship rival on the same set of tyres. Though Mr. Cookie's older. Because Mr. Cookie hasn't pit yet and Rick has. And he's overtaken him. And now Mr. Cookie finally into the pit lane he goes along with Hella High. So that's him guy out at the top at the moment on 14 lap old hard tyres. So very much playing the long game. However, these boys will be switching to the medium set of tyres. And will want to try and make the most of their high speed capabilities and good grip. So it's zoned out then entirely. Either way, that puts them guys to the bottom of the grid as Jimmy Jags just makes his way past a couple of them. Hella High, though, does manage to get out in front of Jimmy Jags. And out into P11, where he now must use the rest of this time, i.e. 11 laps, to try and sort of make the most of his speed. Try and get past some people, get some moves made. As that's him guy now into the pit lane, finally in. Took his sweet, sweet time, but on lap 15, he's finally given up the guts for those very, very worn out hard tyres. You can see they are very much matte. No shine to them whatsoever, that's for certain. These ones, though, these ones will have a shine to them, as you can very much see on the outside. Lovely and shiny, and he's going to come out in a pretty solid position as well. In fact, he might get out in front of Hazard. He has. However, Hazard might try and go for a move here into... Oh, no. Hazard's going to go for the switchback. and on much warmer tyres, it could be quite viable. And yes, does have a lot of extra grip on exit. Also, notably, the track is looking a little bit moist. You know, did you hear that? I said the track is looking a little bit moist. Right, okay, I'm glad you heard that. Glad you heard that. And now the Elgato sound is just broken. Great, lovely, awesome, brill. Pick up audio. You stupid thing. Oh, right, okay. You're just going to be listening to the sweet tones of my voice, apparently. Oh, I heard a little bit. There we go. There's some sound. Right, you want it about there, don't you? Well, that's him, guys. Sort of generated a little bit of action here as he's going to now fight back. Hazard goes down the inside, as you do. Lovely and clean. Move made. It's the closest battle we have at the moment. As I'm a wild Matt beginning to sneak up the inside here. And yeah, I can't help but notice the track is looking a little bit different than it was when we started. Oh. It's looking a little bit different. I'm going to just whip out my phone and have a little look at BRL. Just swap. Well, we'll watch on board with this little fella. This is I'm a Wild Matt. He's kind of probably the best one to look at the moment because obviously we've got him and then Hazard and then that Sim guy. And they're kind of the most sort of close drivers to each other. Mr. Cookie getting close to Jimmy Jags as well. However, what is nice is that I can actually look on my phone and I can look in 1080p, which is ideal because trying to watch it in 360, and oh my god, it was so beautiful at the start of the race. It was so lovely and clear. It's really gone. Oh, I've just watched Sim guy go spinning again. Well, hella high, very, very close to the back of the Williams of our Henson, so there could be a little battle in here. And yeah, so sort of what I was on about previously, the track's getting a lot of grey. It's getting grey. It's getting a bit grey. It's getting a bit dull. It's getting a little bit depressing. Just watching Mr. Blake Tovey's race, also known as Era Blake. He's currently P4 at the moment, doing rather well. Just watching his stream that he's got at the moment. Interestingly, he's moved the lap thing into the middle. Only thing is that makes his timing board look really weird because it just sort of cuts off at the top. Nevertheless, he's doing rather well, keeping those tyre temps lovely and optimal. As sort of, it's very, very quiet out on track, I will not lie to you. But it is quite funny because you can search up BRL, right, and you can go to filters and go to live during one of the live streams. And without a doubt, you will find. Yeah, so here goes. There's Pink Eye. There's Era Lake. Because a lot of them stream it to YouTube. Well, they have to record their footage. So some people like to record. Some people like to stream. Doesn't really matter so long as you're capturing your footage. It doesn't really matter. Oh, Henson's gone for it. That's a mistake there from RS hella high. So that promotes R. Henson back up to P10. Mr. Cookie's been closing the gap on some of these guys. He's getting that timer slowly ticking down. However, he's not got forever to do it. So, you know, don't take your time. Well, what to do? I'm a little bit like, this is just kind of, what do I do now? Because we are sort of just sat, not doing a lot, just chilling, basically. And so yeah, we're just having a little look. I mean, this is the closest battle we got. IRS Hella High and our Henson. They're the only guys in DRS zone of each other. So of course we're gonna look at these guys. Drivers are close. I'm a one Matt's quite close, and our Henson Smithy is quite close. But I think unless mistakes are made, positions are starting to get cemented. Like I'm struggling to see sort of all of a sudden big changes in pace from one person. He's gonna go for it, you know. Oh no, he's close. He's gonna go for it. You know what? He's gonna go for it, ladies and gentlemen. I may or may not be watching PSGL right now. Oh, that's close. Ah, he's done it. Gonna try the switchback. Can you guys do this, please? Can you just have this? This is great battling. There's absolutely nothing to talk about. Nothing whatsoever. Other than Rick is going to absolutely blow the championship away as of right now because he's P3 and Mr. Cookie's P12. Oh, it's getting a little bit closer, you know. It's all of a sudden, a couple of drivers have got close to one another. Especially Rick, Mr. Rick here, who's doing very well, actually. Now just 6/10 away. I mean, at the moment, I honest to God now, the next straight, someone will make a move. I can nearly guarantee it if I don't look at them. No, no, they haven't. Oh, that's depressing. Mr. Cookie's also about to get involved in this action as well, which is going to be really good. This is going to be a nice little fight to the end of the race, and I'm very much here for it. Rick's gotten himself past Lifebout there. Whereabouts was that? That was down into our second most common overtaking position down in Brooklands. It's kind of like there's two places where you overtake, Brooklands and Stowe. And that is where pretty much everybody has gotten their overtaking moves done, is Brooklands and Stowe. It's quite funny. Why have they got to be on boards? Why are all three on boards? Come on. Come on. Give me the option to switch, please. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Cookie now well and truly in this battle. The Red Bull was going to be the one to have a little look. Out of all the drivers, he was sort of the best position to possibly go for a move. Hella High, though, just backing out for now, and he's got to try and protect himself against a very, very fast Mr. Cookie right behind, who has caught up 6 seconds over the last couple of laps. This could be very, very beneficial for Mr. Cookie because he's going to be going from P12 all the way up to P9 if he gets to all of these positions. In fact, this battle for P9 is going to be pretty important for all drivers in here. Our Henson as well, he's P3 in the championship at the moment. He needs as many points as he can possibly get on his hands. So he'll be wanting to get that position up as well. IRS Hella High, obviously he's going to want to get positions. No one's ever not going to want to get positions. Otherwise, that's pretty stupid. He is now down in P17, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is Smithy who's had a bit of a mare there, who's then had a bit of a collision with RS Hella High. Mr. Cookie absolutely blitzing his way through. P10 as of right now. However, R. Henson getting himself up to P9. So obviously the Smithy mistake has led to sort of a couple of problems. IRS Hella High had to sort of back down a little bit, which has sort of allowed R. Henson and Mr. Cookie to go through. And more importantly, open up a bit of a gap between them, those two drivers, and then Smithy and our IRS Hella High just a little bit further back. So with that in mind, Mr. Cookie and R. Henson, this could be a really good battle actually. In theory, what will be what's first and third in the championship as of the moment. Obviously, that's going to change after the results. And Mr. Cookie going to launch one down the inside. Lovely stuff. And our Henson just cannot combat it. No, that is going to be Mr. Cookie's corner. Fair play. That's a very, very good corner and taken really, really well. So Mr. Cookie up into P9 as of right now. He's got another 3 seconds to the RJ Blair. And with a couple of laps to go, if he really gets his foot down, he might just be able to do it. He might just get to the back, and then it is going to be like going into the last corner to take that move to try and get P8. But we know that Mr. Cookie's got pace. You can see it on the delta time as of right now. It's still coming down. So that's RS Hella High and Smithy going in for a lovely battle. Oh, a bit of a bumpy battle, actually. As they go side by side through the first half of club and then through the second. And it is going to be Smithy that manages to get himself through eventually. It was pretty chaotic, though, to say the very least. And oh, what's happened there? ISLI getting a little bit too excited on the throttle. And that has obviously led him to have a little bit of a spin there out of the first corner. So unfortunate for him. That Sim guy is going to go for a move on Aeroblake. However, due to penalties, this could be considered pretty much just a drop and run if he wants to try and make a move. And there we go. That Sim guy up into position. Very well driven by him. Well, Lifebout still trying his absolute hardest to retake this position from Rick. It would be a comfortable second place. Obviously, they're equal on penalties as of right now. So that's something that we need to start taking into... Oh, Cookie, what happens? Oh, this guy. This guy. Cookie, what will happen, bro? Well, I'm concerned. I'm concerned, Cookie. How'd you go from winning this race last season? It's all gone wrong. Oh, I feel so bad for you, Cookie. But at the same time, it's quite funny. Nevertheless, IRS Heller and Smithy once again going at it. These two absolutely relentless with each other. I cannot lie. They just do not stop going for it. Well, it's going to be the Red Bull that's going to have the slightly bigger advantage. And they're now heading through Cop's Corner. And the Red Bull is still in front, but only just for now. That could very much change. We're on to the last lap, ladies and gentlemen. So those last couple of laps actually gone by pretty nicely indeed. I was expecting that to drag on a lot more than it did. Nevertheless, I'm going to ditch those guys for now and take a little look at Rick and Lifebout, because these two doing incredibly well. They've kept fighting for so long, and I think it's only fair if we actually start to see their scrap just a little bit. I think Lifebout will probably want to be going for a move through Stowe, perhaps through Vale and Club, but I really think Stowe is a more logical option, because unless you really, really botch Stowe, it is quite difficult to get a good enough run. especially if you've been the one to lose the position at Stowe to be able to get the move done into Vale. Either way, he's got to nail Maggots and Beckett's first. So here we go. Maggots, no name. Beckett's. Oh, no, that's no name. Beckett's and Chapel. And he is close. It's 3.8. He could do this with every little last bit of ERS he's got. He's closing. He's going to go for a move. But I think it's going to have to be a switchback if he wants to get anything out of it. He's going to be ERS central. And he's going to have to go to the outside, which will give him the inside. Well, congratulations to IRS Pink Eye. And oh, there goes Lifebout. So it is Pink Eye who comes across the win here at Silverstone. It's been a very, very quiet race for him indeed. He started second. After the first few laps, he was first. And he has pretty much remained there the entire time, bar being sort of included in a couple of pit stops here and there. But it's very, very good racing from him. IRS Pink Eye takes a very, very well-deserved win. I'm not sure whether it's his first, though. I was about to say his first win, but I don't know. Pink Eye, Pink Eye, Pink Eye, Pink Eye, Pink Eye. No, that is his first race. That's his first ever win. Congratulations. Yes, it is. Congratulations to Pink Eye for winning his first ever race. Well done. A very, very well driven from him as well, with Rick in P2 doing an absolutely marvellous job for the championship as well. Well, what a race that was. Well, it was a little bit quieter towards the end. But, I mean, at the same time, that was very, very well done. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the Ferrari. We haven't seen a Ferrari on the front step since last season. And it's a weirdly eerie sight to see nowadays. However, with a McLaren and an AlphaTauri, that is something that we've been seeing quite a lot of. Congratulations to the Ferrari and to Pink Eye for winning here at Silverstone. Hello, Rick.
Hello.
Do we have a Rick here?
Hello. Yep, we do.
We do. I can't hear. Oh, it's probably because I haven't got my headphone in that I can't hear you. How are you doing? Oh,
I'm
no.
all
Well,
right.
okay.
I
So
feel very good.
apparently everything else, but oh, I just don't have my volume turned up. Go for it.
Oh, you donkey.
Yeah, I'm a total
It,
donkey.
wa- it was it was good. It was good. I feel great. Another P2, which I'll take, considering Pink Eye won the race, which he isn't really in the title fight by quitting
No,
yet.
he's P17.
No. Yeah, he's 70 points off, so he's
Yes.
essentially not a threat.
Aha.
Um, so yeah, this is a very good result for me and for the standings. I think I'd be like 15 points up. I don't know where Cookie finished, but I'd say he finished in like the bottom 10. Not sure.
Mhm.
I'm
Uh,
I'm very
Cookie.
far ahead now, so I'll
Yeah.
take
So
it.
yeah, no. Cookie finished very very low. I think he finished P12 in the end.
Ah, okay. That's
Yeah, he had a bit of a stinker.
okay. So I'll be 14 points ahead if results stay like this.
Mhm. So let's take a little look. Your entire race was basically just up, 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 wasn't it? You started very low, sprint went well, race went even better.
Yeah, yeah. Could have finished like fifth if the two Aston Martins hadn't spun each other out, then I would probably could have finished fifth because I had to avoid Alexis Sanchez. Um, and if he did, he goes at last second. So if he didn't, I'd have been out.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's two extra points that I could have used.
Mhm. Either way, it is a very, very good result for you, isn't it? Especially for the Drivers' Championships. Taking a little look at Constructors, it will help you out in the battle against AlphaTauri, but is Constructors something that you're sort of particularly aiming to win, or are you sort of mainly focused on drivers and drivers only?
Um, Obviously the constructors is still something you want to win, but it's mainly the drivers because I've already won the constructors last season.
Hmm.
But we're definitely still in this. Still in contention, no doubt.
Yeah.
Um, I think we've gained a lot as well. Might even be leading. Don't know.
Hmm. But
How
it
many
was
Alpha Towers were there?
there was two, both Hazard and Lifeboat. It
Okay.
did compete.
Oh yeah.
Lifeboat obviously came P3
Yeah.
and Hazard P6,
Okay.
whereas
No. Wait.
you got P2 and P8.
Yes, but I would already lose points in them. But I think with the sprint, would he lose even more? Unfortunately, but
Yeah. Either way, it does help.
yeah.
Does help keep the gap moderately stable because it's obviously 151 to 136 at the moment. Um,
Yeah.
However, obviously back up at the top of the driver standings. Do we think we can stay there? Do you think you're still under? How much pressure do you think you're under at the moment?
I like being ahead. Um, Makes it easier to think and
Hmm.
calculate with points. But um, I think with the points gap I'd have when the standings are done, I think I'd be I wouldn't feel comfortable yet. Um, I'd
Hmm.
feel safer, definitely. Bigger, bigger points gap, and yeah, this is one of my worst tracks. So Portugal, I think, would be my worst. Wait, is China on here? Let's see. No. So okay, got one bad track for me, and then I should have relatively good tracks for me until the end of the season.
Hmm.
With maybe Zandvoort, unfortunately, being one of my not one of my better ones. Same with Kota,
Yeah.
but Austria can do well at. Imola is a very good one for me. Baku, Chaos, and I'm pretty good with keeping it out of the walls. It's street
Hmm.
tracks. Same with Canada. So that should be good. Abu Dhabi, for some reason, I'm very fast there. I just don't like the track.
Oh,
I th-
very
uh,
strange.
if you like that track, you're insane. That's
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah. So and Brazil, one of my best tracks now. It was one of my worst last game, but it's one of my best now. So that's very good.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
Very well done. 3-word race roundup.
Um, good, better, best.
Okay, fair enough. Other than that, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you again. Yeah, see you next week.
Yeah, see you later. Right, let's talk to our P3 position. And it was a rather close battle at the end, wasn't it? But it didn't quite come through, did it, Lifebout?
Yeah, I'll, I should start from the sprint, I guess. I had like a very good sprint. I think I gained 10 or 11 positions. I don't know. But it was pretty good. I avoided the chaos at the beginning, so the sprint was pretty good. And then in the race, the start was decent, but then I made a huge mistake on lap 3, which cost me the DRS to pink eye,
Mm-hmm.
and then I couldn't catch back up. So I was just in P2 the whole time, and then um, basically I'm under fuel by like 2 whole laps, so I couldn't finish the race with my fuel. So when I came out on the hard tires, I was just lifting coasting for the whole stint, and
Mm.
then Rick cast back up, and yeah, well I let him go so I can gain more fuel with DRS,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I barely made it to the end actually.
Oh, well, fair enough. Though it did still look like a pretty good battle. You were pretty close at the end to get in the position. Did you think that you had really much chance, obviously, with a lack of fuel? Did you really think you did have much chance to sort of go back?
Well, I I think if I overtook the lap before, I wouldn't have enough fuel to finish the race. So I think it would have been P3 anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, nevertheless, it was still very, very good. I'd say comeback from you. Obviously, you have to start at the back for the sprint for the sprint race. However, you got really good overtaking skills over today's race. I just want to say congratulations for that. Other than that,
thank
did you I guess confidence wise, like going into the next couple of races, does this bring out a bit of extra confidence, a nice podium position?
yeah. Just helping me catch back up to the um, championship leader.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting closer, and yeah, pretty decent result.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. Do you want to give your 3-word race roundup?
Lift and coast.
Lift and coast. Oh well, you did it about half the race, so that only
Yeah,
fair to give that.
yeah.
Congratulations on the podium. Even if you were
Thank you.
lifting and coasting, that's even more impressive to get a podium. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Righty. Right, so I don't think we are going to be having Pink Eye tonight. He got off his PlayStation pretty quickly. We've tried to explain that excuse doesn't work anymore, but he's just sort of not responding. So, oh well. Uh, nevertheless, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. It has been an absolutely great race overall. And other than that,